Hey, it's Mike Hambright with FlipNerd.com, and welcome back for another exciting VIP interview where I interview some of the most successful real estate investing experts and entrepreneurs in the industry to help you learn and grow. Today, I'm joined by Linda Pliagas, who's the founder of Realty 411 Magazine, Cashflow Express, RE Wealth, and many others, which we'll talk about. And she's one of the most well-known people and faces in the industry. Today, we're going to learn more about Linda and discuss the importance of education and networking in real estate investing. So before we get started, though, let's take a moment to recognize our featured sponsors. RealtyMogul.com is an online marketplace for real estate investing, connecting borrowers and capital from accredited and institutional investors. Get a rehab loan fast and close in as little as 10 days. Rates start as low as 9%. We'd also like to thank National Real Estate Insurance Group, the nation's leading provider of insurance to the residential real estate investor market. From individual properties to large-scale investors, National Real Estate Insurance Group is ready to serve you. Please note, the views and opinions expressed by the individuals in this program do not necessarily reflect those of FlipNerd.com or any of its partners, advertisers, or affiliates. Please consult professionals before making any investment or tax decisions, as real estate investing can be risky. Hey, Linda, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me, Mike.
Yeah, good to have you on. We've been talking about it for a while, so glad we made it happen.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of folks that know you. You have a lot of different publications behind you, and your face seems to be everywhere these days. You've got a lot of different events going on and everything. But for those that don't know you or don't know you well enough yet, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. Well, I am an investor, first and foremost. I'm also the publisher of Realty 411 Magazine. We have that glossy publication as well as our alternate cover, Real Estate Wealth. We also produce a newspaper, Cashflow Express, which not only discusses real estate but also gives business tips and information about investing in securities or alternative investments. And then we also produce a monthly, fully interactive digital magazine called REI Wealth Monthly.
Okay. And so talk a little bit about the publication business, because there's always a lot of jokes about publishers of magazines and how it tends to be more of a labor of love versus a profitable business. But that's okay too. I mean, there's a lot of things that all of us do that we love doing, whether we're making money or not. But at any rate, talk a little bit about kind of that as a business and how it fits into your real estate investor hat as well, the other hat you wear.
Well, it's interesting that you noted that because that is correct. Yeah. Media is a labor of love, and journalism is not a high-paying profession as a whole. Sure, there are a lot of people who do make a lot of money in media. They tend to be in broadcast journalism and very, high influential figures like Barbara Walters and such. But journalism is really a passion for me and for most of the people that go into the business. And honestly, that's why I became a real estate investor, because once I was in journalism school and I discovered exactly how much we were going to make, I decided, well, if I want to continue this and I still want to be successful financially in my life, I better look towards something else. And that's when I discovered real estate and started educating myself about real estate.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that. I know somebody that actually just literally goes on missions around the world to help other people, and literally they come back a few times a year, rehab a house, sell it, and with the proceeds from that, go do what they are very passionate about. So,
that's so awesome.
Yeah, real estate is very interesting in that way. So talk a little bit about, a lot of folks that are in the publication business, certainly in the real estate space, or a lot of industries like ours, tend to have one publication, and it's not just in the publication space, but I struggle with attraction to shiny objects, so I'm always starting something new or thinking about it or driving my wife nuts talking about it. But what's the significance of having multiple publications versus pouring kind of everything into just one?
That's a very good question. It just kind of evolved that way. Realty 411 started, and we had a lot of people who wanted to be on the cover of that. So to make it more affordable for our advertisers to be able to get that cover visibility and spot that they were interested in, we decided to make an alternate cover as well. And then that way, we can print additional copies and cut the cost of being on the cover and being promoted the way people want to be promoted. That's how that evolved. And then the newspaper evolved because the glossy magazine is very expensive to do. Printing a glossy magazine is expensive. And I wanted to do a publication in between the glossy that was more affordably priced. And I was trained as a newspaper journalist, not a magazine journalist. And when I worked in college, I've always worked for newspapers. So that kind of evolved because I love newspapers and I wanted to create an affordable marketing piece for our advertisers in between the glossy magazines. And REI Wealth just kind of happened. It's not my publication. Another publisher started it. His name is Nolan Arakat, and he's based in San Diego. He started the publication and approached me about a year and a half ago to partner up with him. So that's how that evolved. So everything just kind of happened and evolved in its own natural space.
Sure, sure. Well, I know you're, talk a little bit about your events. I know you have a lot of events and you're ambitiously planning to kind of even ramp that up more, but talk about, your events, for those that haven't been to them, maybe how they're designed, and then we'll talk a little about the importance of events, like what value that adds to the real estate investing community.
Sure. Well, we have free expos around the country. They're sponsored by our advertisers and sponsors. We just enjoy connecting with people, Mike. I think knowledge is power, certainly in real estate, that's the case. And we are happy to provide resources and information for people that seek it. And for me, I am an investor. My life has changed as a result of real estate. I'm a licensed real estate agent. The expos are one way of me being able to give back to my community, to make real estate a forefront topic for people, and to introduce maybe creative concepts to real estate agents and brokers that may not have been exposed to that before.
Sure, sure. It is. There's no doubt that I'm a huge fan of real estate investing clubs, and I think of events like the expos. Large events like that are equally important because they probably one of the biggest problems in my experience that real estate investors have or want to be real estate investors have with getting started is just confidence. And I think you gain that by getting more knowledge and being around, just seeing other people that are successful, whether it's just hearing them talk or having a chance to talk to them one-on-one maybe. But yeah, kudos on that. It's such an important role.
Oh, thank you. Well, we really enjoy connecting with people. That's probably my favorite part of running my business is that personal connection with people.
Yeah, and I say it all the time. And one of the reasons in all honesty, that I started doing this show is I've successfully invested in real estate for many years now, and by most measures, we've done very well. But it can be a very lonely business if you let it. I mean, people tend to be very isolated and have their head down and running their business, but you don't often come together and talk about real estate with people, especially if you're not part of a franchise system or a community. So there's lots of opportunity for community creation inside of the real estate space.
Oh, absolutely. And people really appreciate them. Honestly, Mike, I've had people hug me at events. At the events, I'm like, I get hugs every other minute by people who just come up to me and say, thanks so much for making this, available to us. We really appreciate it. We know you worked hard in putting it together. And they're very appreciative, and that means a lot to us.
Yeah, yeah. In terms of like publications and events, and really both of those things, talk a little bit about how technology is changing your business or changing those things for you as we kind of move forward here.
Well, technology has certainly changed the whole spectrum of media, really. We have a lot of citizen journalists out there now, and we have desktop publishing available, which makes publishing much easier to do by people that may not have been able to be publishers before in the past.
Yeah.
And then technology certainly has changed real estate as well. We have people buying real estate online all the time. Marketing is very important to wholesaling. Now we're starting to see a lot of wholesalers send out email blasts, utilize social media to let people know about those deals. And we're going to continue to see that. Plus, I believe that we're going to see a lot more creative marketing along the way. Not just email and snail mail, but text marketing. We're going to start seeing maybe more voice blasts or fax blasts or, just other methods of reaching out to people. Because everybody's being so bombarded with email marketing now that everyone's like, okay, well, what's the next best way of reaching out to people? Yellow letters will always be, very important in our business, and a lot of people still get deals by just snail mail. It's still effective and has been tested and true.
Sure, sure. And where do you see publications like yours kind of going over the years to come with technology improving? I mean, I know one of your publications is solely in the iTunes store, right?
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about where you think things are heading.
Sure. Well, I think we're going to start seeing even more publications now that it's much easier to be a publisher. And we're going to start seeing a lot of digital, online-only publications because, of course, that is the most affordable way of doing a magazine. We're going to start seeing the price of paper go up, which will start deterring a lot of new publishers from actually printing because it is expensive. However, on the bright side is we're going to start seeing a lot of short-run publishing companies spring up where you can print on demand. So, for example, maybe you're not going to do a 20 or 30,000 print run of your publication, but you're going to be able to give your consumers the the privilege of being able to download your publication and pay a set price for that. So maybe it'll be like $8 or $10, but they'll be able to download and print the publication, and it'll look very professional and it'll seem like it's a real publication, but it's a print-on-demand service. So we're going to start seeing a lot of that take shape as well.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're very passionate about. I know that you got started. Maybe share your background a little bit in terms of how you got started and the importance of education. I know that you and I both feel very passionate about education and learning from others. But maybe kind of go back and share your story a little bit about how that evolved for you.
Sure. Well, I do have a bachelor's in journalism, and I am a licensed real estate agent. I took college courses in real estate or about real estate at Santa Monica College when I first started, and that was about 20 years ago. Since then, I have attended boot camps and training. I attend real estate clubs as well. It is for seeking knowledge and education, but a lot of it is also motivation as well, Mike, because it's important for us as investors and professionals to constantly stay motivated about our business.
Sure.
Because, we do have stress associated with real estate, dealing with tenants or dealing with other, partners or investors. It can get stressful, so it's important to be in a positive and uplifting environment when possible. So I started being a real estate agent about 11 years ago, and truthfully, I think education is the way to go. You don't have to spend a lot of money you don't have it, reading is probably the best way of educating yourself on any topic. So I thoroughly recommend reading about real estate. Read real estate.
Yeah, yeah. What advice would you give to folks that are looking to get started, or trying to start but not seeing the level of success that they want in terms of events and reading and publications and things like that? What advice would you give those folks?
In terms of real estate investing?
Yeah, and let me throw in one other kind of wrinkle there is
Okay.
how to use those as tools to find, not that it has to be one thing, but I think a lot of times what's overwhelming for folks is that there's so many ways that they could make money in real estate investing, and sometimes that paralyzes people that they can't make a decision. And when they see more and more information, sometimes it makes that even more of a challenge to know what to go do right now. But maybe talk about what advice you would give folks to kind of get started in the face of there being so many shiny objects out there.
I agree with you. I think the most successful people in business are the ones that specialize in a niche. Specialization is very important. For example, in journalism, you can specialize on a specific topic to write about. In real estate, you can specialize in the farming area, farming a market. And I think it is important to, yes, learn about different types of real estate, wholesaling, notes, private lending, but in the end, you have to try and gravitate toward the one that appeals to you the most and stick with it. For me, it's been landlording. I've been a landlord consecutively for over 20 years, and that's the one that appeals to me the most, and that's the one I have stuck with throughout.
So say that again, Linda. What's your focus?
Landlording.
Okay, yeah.
I like being a landlord. That is my focus, and that's what I gravitate toward. And that's why I think I'm successful, because it's important to pick a niche that you can really learn and excel in. But if you want to be successful in something, you have to practice it over and over again. That's how you're going to become successful. So you should stick with a niche if you want to see success in that.
Sure. And as somebody that holds a lot of different events, maybe you could, when I do these interviews, I always try to get something that we haven't heard before out of somebody, but maybe you could share some advice to folks when they go to an event, and there are some large events around the country now, and the quality of the events just continues to improve. Maybe you could share some advice that you would give folks on how to attend an event, like how to get the most out of it and not be worried about being sold something or anything else. Just how do folks get the most out of an event from a networking standpoint, from a learning standpoint?
Great question. First and foremost, bring your business cards. I'm shocked at the amount of people who go to events and don't even have a business card, and then they end up writing their name and number, on a piece of paper. So bring a business card, and please look professional. A lot of times people attend the events and they're not dressed in a professional manner. We're still a society that bases your opinion on first impressions, and you only have one chance to make a first impression. So I would say definitely dress professionally, be prepared, be ready to network, have a positive attitude, and be open. Be open to meeting people, be open to learning. Maybe you're going to hear or see things that you may not agree with, but just be open and have an open mind, and definitely have lively discussions with people, but always respect other people's opinions. A lot of times, I was an out-of-state investor for many years, since 2005, and when I would attend events or go to events, some speakers or other people would put me down because I was an out-of-state investor. They would say, "Oh, that doesn't work. Why are you investing out-of-state? And why are you telling people who are investing out-of-state?" they didn't respect my decisions. And that was kind of rude. So I would say, even if you don't agree with a certain type of real estate niche, be respectful. Just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean it doesn't work, and doesn't mean that other people don't find that out and be successful.
Yeah, in my experience, there's a lot of folks that I'm fortunate to hear and get to meet a lot of different folks, like you. And there's some people that I don't really agree with them almost at all, but there's always some little nugget that you can pick up in there. Even from some of the people that I respect the most, I don't agree with everything they say, but I think it's always important to try to find the one or two little nuggets in there that you can, even if it's not doing what they say, it may get your wheels turning to kind of help you improve yourself or improve your business. So I think that is important.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You can learn something from anyone.
Yeah. Well, Linda, since you have your very much have your ear to the ground as to what's going on across the country, I often ask folks where you think the real estate market is heading. I know it's you may have a different view of in California versus the rest of the country, but as we sit here in the summer of 2014, I had to think about that for a second. It's hard to believe it's already the summer of 2014.
Oh.
But maybe share your thoughts on where you think the market is heading and where some of the bigger opportunities are at.
Well, certainly real estate is very local and still tends to be that way. So I can speak for California. I live in Santa Barbara County, which is by the coast, and California has been seeing a nice recovery in the coastal regions. Not every region. The inland empires are certainly not appreciating the way the coastal regions of California are. So, and also other parts of the country, some are doing better than others. We're still seeing a lot of smaller markets, particularly in the Rust Belt and in the Midwest, where they're losing people. They're losing the amount of people that live there. So, of course, when you're losing demographics, the real estate is going to decrease in value and not really appreciate or go up. So I think, we're seeing a lot of movement and activity in where people are living and where people are choosing to live, and that is really going to affect the real estate market all over the country. So keep tabs on where people are moving to. And one way you can do that is with the Census Bureau and census information, and also by simply calling, a local U-Haul and figuring out where are the trucks being rented to, and that'll give you an idea where people are moving to, because where people are heading to, that's where the prices of real estate will incline and go up.
Sure. And given that you're one of those folks that invests outside of where you live, I've always been very myopic in that I try to just focus on where I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth market, so it's a large market, but I've always struggled with investing in other markets, but largely through a lot of relationships I've built through the Flip Nerd show and just networking, I've met so many people lately that invest thousands of miles from where they live, and it's like second nature to them, and that's been fascinating. So talk, in the context of if you happen to be in one of these markets that's losing population or maybe not doing well, isn't necessarily a great place to invest. Give some advice to folks on how they can consider investing in other markets.
Sell it. That's my advice. If you know that a place is losing population and people are not moving into, don't hold on to it. There's no reason to, unless you're emotionally attached to the property, of course. But as a business, it doesn't make sense to do that when you can make so much more money in appreciating markets.
Sure.
So that's, my advice.
But how about like actively investing in other markets? If you live, I'm not going to call it any markets because I don't want to offend anybody. But if you live in a market and you want to get started in real estate investing, and that doesn't, you want to continue to live there, but that's not necessarily the best market, or maybe it's not large enough to invest in. What advice would you give to folks to analyze and kind of focus on other markets?
Well, I do believe in long-distance landlording and have worked for me. And being from California, we didn't really have much of a choice when we wanted to expand our portfolio because the west side of Los Angeles, the average three-bedroom, two-bath home used to go for $650,000. Now it's more like $800,000.
Wow.
And so when your numbers like that is, you have to go out of state if you want to expand your portfolio, and that's why I did it. But for markets that may be, losing population, you can find deals anywhere, and that certainly will give people more deals available to them because you're going to see people maybe walk away from their homes or, vacant properties. So that creates a big opportunity for investors. My advice would be to try and pick them up for, of course, the best price possible. One way that you can benefit would be to fix up the property and maybe do a lease option to buy. That seems to be very popular. Wholesaling, of course, is always popular in markets like that. My advice would be to network and to, when you do have a wholesale deal, become marketing savvy. Selling real estate and marketing real estate is very important. So definitely educate yourself on how to do email marketing, how to do social media marketing, how to put together a flyer that you can, put together real quick and take it down to your RIA and start disseminating the information to other investors. Speed is very important for the success of a real estate investor, as we all know.
Sure.
Time is of the essence.
Great. Well, that's good advice. Well, Linda, you have a lot of different publications and many different events. If folks wanted to learn more about your publications and look into them or some of your upcoming events, and we'll add a bunch of links below the video here, but go ahead and tell us where folks should go check you out.
Sure. Well, we recommend our two most visited websites, which are realty411guide.com. That's realty411guide.com. And then reiwealthmag.com, which is for our REI Wealth Monthly Magazine. So that's realty411guide.com and reiwealthmag.com.
Awesome. We'll add links down below the video for everybody to find those. So, well, Linda, thanks so much for joining us today. Appreciate your time and definitely wish you all the best with your publications and your events. And for those that are listening, keep an eye on all the events that are going to be coming up because I know Linda's looking to ramp those up. So that's fantastic.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Sure. Thanks, Linda. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Are you a member of FlipNerd.com, the most robust real estate investing platform in existence, where you can find off-market wholesale deals and great vendors literally in your market? You can get access to advice from experts and learn about local clubs and events right in your backyard. If not, please visit FlipNerd.com and register for a free account. You can register in less than a minute. It's pretty much the coolest site that's ever existed in the real estate investing industry, so get on over to FlipNerd.com.